guys, welcome to EasyToKeto. So today I'm stuck at home, I know you're stuck at home, and I thought I would make some air fryer keto snacks because I know a lot of people are upping their intake of alcoholic beverages, and it could be a glass of wine or maybe some low carb beer, but I feel like it would be really nice to have something crispy, something super delicious, yummy to have along with that. Or even if you're not drinking, this is so yummy and it's so easy to make that you're gonna wanna do it right away. So let's get to it. So what I'm using right now are jalapenos, and I've got about 4 jalapenos. You can make as many as you like, but the first thing I'm gonna do is, these are washed of course, and I patted them dry. I'm just going to slice them up super thin. Now the thinner these are, the more crispier and easier they cook in the air fryer. So if you're not too comfortable slicing these with a knife, then obviously a mandolin works also. So these are your choices. I'm gonna go ahead and slice these up. So all my jalapenos are nicely sliced, and I'm gonna do the same thing with an onion. So this is just another option on how we can make these snacks. You can use different items, but this is one more item, again, as thin as possible. So of course we're gonna be air frying these things, and we're gonna have a nice crispy little crust or coating over the jalapenos and the onions, and this is our magic ingredient for that. I have whey protein isolate. Now I got this from the bulk section of our Whole Foods or Sprouts grocery store, and I know it's available in different forms or online even, but it's just plain unflavored whey protein isolate. So I'm gonna go ahead and take about a 1/4 cup of this in a small bowl. And to that, I have some pink Himalayan salt. I have a 1/4 teaspoon. Now salt is absolutely to taste. I like these things because they're kind of like super yummy snacks. It's a little bit saltier than normal, but if you'd like to cut that down, then it's up to you. And finally, here is another secret ingredient. This is tahini. Now this is a little seasoning salt. It's got like a little hint of spiciness, it's got a little bit of salt, and it's got, the most important part I find is it's got a little bit of tanginess. Now, anytime we're air frying, we don't want to add any moisture or liquid in here just because it's gonna make it soggy, and technically you would add lime juice or lemon juice to it, but again, it's gonna add moisture. So this, what it does is it's gonna give you that nice tang without the moisture. So this one I'm gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon. There's a 1/4. And 1/4. And just give that a good mix. Now this mixture is so useful, and believe me, when you try this, you're gonna be addicted to this. So what I do is I make a big batch of this, the same proportions, and I just keep it in a little container like this. So anytime I wanna make these, all I'm having to do is just chop something up and use the mixture. So less effort and save time. And finally, now comes the time for our air fryer. So I have an air fryer here, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. And my air fryer, the initial temperature that it starts on is 360 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep it at that temperature. It works for me. Different air fryers are gonna have different temperatures that they default start on, but anything around 350, 360, 370 even, around that time frame should be just fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that going and let it heat up for about a minute or 2 so that the basket inside is nice and hot. And I know one of the biggest questions I'm gonna get is, what if you don't have an air fryer? So I have my handy oven over here. I'm gonna go ahead and get that going also. I'm gonna change this to a little bit higher temperature. I'm gonna go with 400 degrees and get that preheated so that I can show you both ways and then we can compare. So the air fryer is heating, the oven is preheating, and here are my jalapenos. Now I have a glove. You should probably use one unless you want to be in some pain later on, because sometimes handling really spicy jalapenos will hurt you. But anyway, here's my jalapenos, and I've got some extra virgin olive oil. I'm just gonna drizzle this over the top, and you can eyeball this. Our goal here is basically just to coat the jalapenos so that our whey protein mixture sticks to it. It doesn't have to be dripping. And if you put a little extra, it's kind of good because it just makes it a little more crispier. but that was about right. And I'm going to mix it really well. You want to make sure that every slice is coated with that oil because we want that mixture, whey protein mixture, to stick. And if you have clumps like this, just break them apart. Make sure every slice gets that oil. And as you can see, there's not a lot of oil at the bottom at all, so it's not too much oil, but just enough to coat. And once those jalapenos are nicely coated with the oil, I'm going to take the whey protein and we're just going to sprinkle it lightly. Now the goal here is not going to be to form like a batter, but just enough to coat it. So we're going to sprinkle some like this, gently toss, sprinkle more. Keep repeating until everything has a nice light coating, dusting almost, of the whey protein. And again, if you have jalapenos that are sticking together, just kind of pull them apart. You want everything to be coated equally. And that is perfect. So I'm using about 1 tablespoon of whey protein per jalapeno. I had 4 jalapenos and I had a 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons. And look at that. That is a perfect coating. That's exactly how we want it. All right, so that's ready, and my air fryer's been heating up for a few minutes here. I'm gonna pull the basket out. Here we go. And I'm gonna take some of my jalapeno slices and just drop them in there. Try to not clump them, but just spread them out as much as I can. And you don't wanna overstuff this because then they won't crispen up. That looks about good. Stick that back in. And let that go. Now every couple of minutes, I'm gonna pull that basket out and give it a toss and put it back in. Now depending on which air fryer you have, how big it is, how small it is, and what type it is, it's gonna be a different time. So I'm not gonna give you the time, but just know that every couple of minutes, pull it out and give it a toss, and then when they're nice and golden, you know, they're ready to eat. And as promised, my second batch, I'm gonna try in the oven. So I have a baking sheet here with parchment paper, and I'm gonna do the same thing here. Just spread them out in a single layer. Now, full disclaimer, this is the first time I'm trying this in the oven because I just want to be able to let you guys know what the verdict is on if it works in the oven or not. So we'll see about that. And any of this extra that you have, just go ahead and put it on here because that crispy whey protein is super delicious. I don't want to waste any of it. And as soon as my oven gets preheated to 400 degrees, I'm going to put this in. So the air fryer jalapenos are looking amazing. They're getting really golden and almost ready. And here's what the oven is doing right now. It's been cooking for about 5 to 6 minutes. And they're starting to turn a little bit brown. But again, I don't want to overcook those jalapenos, so I think what I'm going to do is change the bake to a broil. That way the heat comes from the top and maybe it'll brown a little bit quicker. So get that going and be sure to keep an eye on it because broiling does tend to burn things if you're not watching it. And finally, here is, let's see, take a final look at this. Oh yeah, look at that. That is so pretty, beautiful. We'll go ahead and take these out. Look at that. And these are perfect. Now, look at how crispy this is. You can actually see the crunchy part of the jalapeno. I'm gonna go ahead and try this. It looks so delicious. It's crispy. It's tangy. It's so delicious. Now, as promised, I'm gonna show you how to do this with onions too, and those also turn out amazing. Okay, so it's been boiling for about 4 minutes, almost 4.5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off because I looked in there and they were nicely browning. So let's, oh yeah. Look at that. So I'm gonna try these out just to see if the flavor kind of compares. And already, can you hear that? You can tell that they're super crispy. Check that out. Give one of these a try. So the verdict is either method works, whether you have an air fryer or just a regular oven, and I'm sure a toaster oven would work just as well. The air fryer, you have to keep tossing it a little bit. The oven, you're gonna bake it, and then halfway through, you're gonna change it to a broil. But one benefit I see in the oven is that if you have a larger batch and you're doing this for a party, then you can actually put a big tray and just fill the whole tray and do it all at once. The air fryer is kind of limited to the space you have in the basket. But which reminds me, let's check on our onions. It's the same as the jalapenos. I'm gonna give it a toss, and back in it goes. Alright, so that should be the last bit for our onions. I'm going to turn this off. Oh, perfect. There we go. Hear that? And these are so crispy too. It's like the most delicate, crispy flavor. It feels like maybe you're at a bar, you're having some bar snacks. It was so delicious and it's so easy. There's no egg washing, there's no getting all dirty, just whatever you have, you keep that mixture ready to go. Anything you have like this, slice it up thin, coat it up, and throw it in the oven, throw it in the air fryer. It's gonna be perfect. So these are the two things that I've thought of on how to use this process, but I'm sure there's a million other ways you could use the same process. So if you have any better idea or any other good idea, please leave a comment below and share it. That would be awesome. And if you like videos like this, please be sure you hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you'll be the first to know every time I post a new video. And give it a thumbs up, a big like, and remember, it's easy to keto if you know how. Thanks for watching. Bye.